Chapter 092. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the Forest of Death, Naruto had just entered a few minutes when a scream was heard in the distance, which scared Sakura into shrinking her head. That's human screaming, right? I always feel a little nervous. Sakura couldn't help but get beaten up next to Naruto. Did it start so soon? Sasuke seemed very calm. After all, this was all expected. Naruto patted Sakura on the shoulder for comfort, and said, there are always people who are more urgent, such as, As he spoke, Naruto suddenly threw a kunai away. With a tuck, the bitterness was inserted in the treetops of the high place. Above the treetops, a rain ninja wearing a beige waterproof suit and a virus device in his mouth rolled over and jumped away. Was it actually discovered? What a stroke of luck! The other party took out the bitterness and said in his mouth, since it is exposed, there is no way. Who is the scroll placed on? Obediently hand it over, and I will spare your lives. Sasuke, leave this little roll to you. Naruto yawned, lacking interest. I just want to move too. Sasuke smiled contemptuously at the other. In that case, then I can only come hard. The rain ninja clenched his hands 23 kunai and quickly rushed towards Sasuke. Although the speed is fast, the straightforward action is far worse than Shaoli. Sasuke didn't need to open the chakra eye at all, jumped into the air with a vertical leap, and his hands quickly froze. Fire Phoenix Immortal Flower Art. Several small fireballs erupted from Sasuke's mouth in succession, chasing the rain ninja like missiles. The rain ninja was also very sensitive, avoiding those fireballs one by one, and quickly approached Sasuke, engaging in hand-to-hand combat with Sasuke. Naruto-kun, maybe the other party still has accomplices hiding nearby, be careful. While Sasuke fights the Naruto ninja, Sakura is also unguarded. After all, each squad is a three-person operation together, and since an enemy has appeared, there must be two of his companions. It's a pity that Sakura guessed wrong this time. Naruto had already sensed it with Kagura's hard eye. That rain ninja must have been too confident in himself, and he broke away from the team and quietly touched it. So Sakura was just wary of loneliness. Burst. After a few rounds of fighting, Sasuke suddenly flashed his chakra eyes, taking advantage of the enemy's unpreparedness, and stabbed himself on the opponent's shoulder. It's really unlucky. It seems that I was wrong to come alone in order to eliminate the breath. The rain ninja quickly retreated with Sasuke's force to kick him away, and then a few jumps quickly left the place. Is this running away? Sakura was surprised. Sasuke took back the reincarnation, fell back to the ground, and said, it seems that the other party really acted alone, and the scroll should not be on him, so there is no need to entangle with him. The meaning of this is that the other party runs away, and they don't need to catch up. No rush. Anyway, there are 5 days. Naruto shrugged his shoulders and said, this is just the beginning. True hunters should cultivate their spirits, wait for the moment, and wait until they are fully sure before attacking with thunder. The people who will do it at the first time are basically guys who can't hold their breath, and these people are basically cannon fodder. So what we're going to do is hunter. Sasuke quite agreed with Naruto's words. Sakura hesitated, so what are we going to do now? Find a place to hide and wait for the moment. Of course, we must first find out the general situation of all the candidates. Naruto grinned, his hands sealed, and shouted lowly, multiple shadow doppelganger art. Suddenly, a dense number of Naruto's shadow doppelgangers appeared in this forest, and at a cursory glance there were at least nearly 500. In Sakura and Sasuke's confused looks, Naruto waved at the shadow doppelgangers and said, go ahead, the intelligence will be left to you. Yo West. All the shadow doppelgangers answered with great interest, and then quickly scattered in all directions, and soon disappeared into the jungle and lost their tracks. You guy, Sasuke was startled by Naruto's play. Doesn't this guy Chakra want money? What a waste, but what a special envy. It's just to create some shadow doppelgangers with a facade. Naruto smiled modestly and said, there is no combat power, it will disappear with a simple touch, but it is enough to probe the situation. That being said, it made Sasuke almost glared at Sharingan with jealousy. Even if he didn't consider his combat strength, he couldn't tell more than 10 shadow doppelgangers if he fought his old life, and Naruto casually measured it in hundreds. It's all Konoha Shinobu, why can Naruto be so different? Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. What Sasuke didn't know was that Naruto just didn't want to hit him before telling him that those shadow doppelgangers had no combat power. In fact, each shadow avatar has the power to easily beat Nezuko. If you let him know this, I'm afraid he will be angry and open a kaleidoscope on the spot, right? However, since there are shadow doppelgangers clearing mines in front, there is no need for them to hide and move forward, just walk slowly towards the central tower. According to my estimates, in fact, you only need to rush to the vicinity of the central tower on the last day. At that time, there will definitely be many people squatting there, and we can easily clear the level as long as we find a team of people who own the Book of the Earth to kill and grab it. On the way, Naruto said his thoughts to his teammates, so, in the first 4 days, we can completely nourish our spirits and maintain a state of energy. When the time comes, it will definitely be easy and enjoyable to face opponents who have been tense for 4 days and are even exhausted. Sakura also felt that this method was very good, and nodded again and again. 170. Naruto-kun is really smart. Those teams that fail to gather the Heaven and Earth scrolls within the deadline will eventually gather at the center tower, and the more time passes, the more people will gather there. Moreover, there must be some people who only have the Book of Heaven or the Book of the Earth on them, and intend to ambush the team that has gathered the scrolls there. But the people who will really ambush there will definitely not be stronger. Sakura also deserves to have the smartest brain. Naruto just got started, she basically figured it out. Sasuke frowned. This method can indeed be used with ease, and the possibility of successfully putting together the scrolls is also very high, but everything has accidents. If the enemy we encounter is too strong, even if we successfully put together the scroll, it will be easily picked up by other teams crouching nearby to ambush. This also has to be prevented. And the longer it drags on, the more likely it is that something will change. In order to ensure that you can absolutely pass the second assessment, it is best to gather the Heaven and Earth scrolls and go to the central tower before the deadline arrives, avoiding those guys who want to pick up the leaks in the last time. The most important thing is that because Naruto has sent a large number of shadow doppelgangers to collect intelligence, it is actually quite simple for them to find a team to sneak attack. So in the end, Sae's idea was completely opposite to Naruto's. Chapter 093. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rumble. Naruto's squad was in the middle of their march when suddenly a giant snake rushed out and slammed into them with its mouth wide open. Sasuke was the first to dodge to the side, but Naruto was half a beat slower to save Sakura. He took Sakura into his arms, but failed to dodge the large snake and was swallowed in one gulp. Immediately afterwards, the big snake quickly crawled forward. Naruto! Sasuke suddenly exclaimed, but when he was thinking about going to save someone, he was stopped by a man wearing a cloak. Get out of here! Knowing that the other party was an enemy and was likely to come to snatch the Heaven and Earth scroll, Sasuke didn't have time to waste with this guy, and just wanted to hurry up and rescue Naruto. He directly opened the Sharingan eye and quickly sealed the seal while rushing forward. Fire escape how fireball technique. A huge fireball erupted from his mouth and struck straight towards the man on the other side. So it is. Does you right, Will Eyes? It's really fun. The man on the opposite side took out the bucket hat, stretched out his long tongue and smacked it, and then Sharingan threw the bucket pipe out and collided with the How fireball. The cloak exploded, and the fireball dissipated. Swish. Sasuke's forward momentum suddenly stopped, and he took out a handful of kunai with a guarded face. This guy is by no means a general. Naruto, it seems that I can only choose to believe you. Sasuke took a deep breath, adjusted his mood, and calmed down again. The enemy on the other side can easily break his How fireball with that broken cloak, which shows that it is not easy to deal with, and he can only go all out. Want my Book of the Earth, huh? The man on the other side took out an earth scroll and said with a dark smile, after all, you are holding the Book of Heaven. Then, under Sasuke's bewildered gaze, he ate the Book of the Earth. Let's start. Scroll battle. The man pulled his right eyelid with his hand, revealing a big, hideous eyeball. Fight for your life. So, Nezuko had a phantom in his body, and Hirako flowed to the ground, his eyes full of horror. Naruto, who had been swallowed by the big snake, still hugged Sakura and protected his body with the wind chakra. not letting the sticky mucus in the big snake's body get on his body. It's a little disgusting. Naruto looked around with some disgust. In fact, he had already sensed the enemy that appeared nearby with Kagura's hard eye, and also knew that it was Orochimaru, one of the 3 shinobi that had been disguised. It's just that Naruto didn't want to meet with Orochimaru yet, so he kept pretending not to find it, waiting for the other party to attack, as he expected. Orochimaru was targeting Sasuke and would definitely find a way to separate them. At that time, he will take the opportunity to take Sakura out of the battlefield and let Orochimaru feel at ease to plant strawberries for Sasuke. Nisakiko's original development route, Naruto did not intend to interfere, let him follow the path of the original book. As for what the final outcome will be, Naruto has not considered it yet. Anyway, he has already taken a few years less detours than Sasuke. There is no reason why he can't beat it in the end. Don't worry at all, Naruto. Naruto. Was it eaten by a big snake? Sakura shivered as she lay in Naruto's arms. She didn't want to be a burden, but when she thought of the appearance of the big snake just now, she couldn't help but be afraid, and her body trembling was not something she could control. Yes, and soon we will become its feces and be excreted through the excretion. Naruto smiled teasingly. Yay. Don't, absolutely not. Sakura couldn't help but scream. Thinking of that kind of picture, she didn't even care about being afraid, and wanted to push Naruto away, violently break the snake's belly. Wait. Naruto quickly hugged her tightly, and said helplessly, you look around first, okay? It's full of acid, and without my chakra protection, you're literally going to be feces. Sakura then realized that it was Naruto's chakra who had been protecting them. Those green slimy disgusting liquids around are very corrosive. Once she left Naruto's protection, her body would have to be injured even if she wouldn't be digested. So what now? Sakura asked with a nervous look. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Don't worry, you can go out at any time if you want. Naruto had her hands clasp around his waist and then freed her hands to seal the seal, the art of multiple shadow avatars. Hundreds of Naruto appeared, and in the limited space, it quickly burst the snake's belly, and Naruto also jumped out of it with Sakura in his arms. Sakura couldn't help but be stunned. Naruto had already divided hundreds of shadow doppelgangers before, and now he could actually divide them. How many chakras does he have? In contrast, Sakura was weakened by her own strength, and she couldn't help at all. The big snake was broken open in the stomach and struggled a few times to burp it. Shoo. Seeing the corpse of the big snake, Sakura couldn't help but gasp. This is the largest snake she has ever seen, and it is already more than 10 meters long, which is simply exaggerated. Is this wildlife endemic to the Forest of Death? If the creatures in this are so exaggerated, it will be more dangerous than expected. Sakura shivered. Looks like not. Naruto looked at the large snake. He knew very well that this was the psychic beast of the Great Snake Pill, a specialty of Longdi Cave. On the surface, he pretended to look at it and put on a reasoning look. This should be someone's psychic beast, which means that we have encountered an enemy, and our strength is still very strong. Isn't Sasuke in danger then? Although Sakura has already empathized with each other, Sasuke is a teammate after all, and she will still worry. You underestimate the Uchiha family. Naruto was not in a hurry at all, and shook his head. His potential is very terrifying, and it is far from being tapped now, and it is only good for him to encounter a strong enemy, just to hone it. That's not certain. Suddenly, a girl's voice cut in, with a playful tone in her tone. Naruto couldn't help but feel cold. He actually didn't realize in advance that there were other people here. And even now, he hasn't seen the figure of the other party, and Kagura Shinji can't perceive it. Naruto immediately pulled Sakura behind him and whispered, I'm afraid another enemy has appeared. You take care of yourself. Sakura in this period can really only be regarded as a burden, but who let her meet all Naruto's needs? It is still worth loving, and naturally it must be protected. After all, the man who fought with Sasuke Uchiha even I think is dangerous. Zhao de Zhao, he really can't survive well. As the words fell, a petite figure walked out of the woods unhurriedly. This is a flower-like loli with long dark blue hair and a golden crown on the crown with a golden orb on the top, golden longitudinal pupils, black eyeshadow extending to the wings of the nose, pale skin, with blue jade-like earrings. She wears a white robe with green ornaments on her chest. Gee, I actually killed my little cutie so easily. How do you say I'm going to deal with you, little brother? Little Lori stretched out her pink snake head, revealing her sharp teeth. It is a real snake head, a tongue like a snake, more like a snake than a large snake pill. Naruto couldn't help but widen his eyes when he saw the other party's appearance. WTF? Who can tell him what the hell is going on? This lowly on the other side, if memory serves, should be one of the 3 gods of Lonely Cave, right? Naruto was numb. What kind of god is this? Chapter 094. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You're not a candidate for the Chunin exam, are you? Naruto looked wary. Although this lowly is good, it must also have the ability to grasp it. After all, the other party is one of the 3 gods of Lonely Cave, and his level of immortal art is perfect. The status is like the 2-toed immortals of Miamu Mountain, and the hard power will not be weaker than the immortals in the later stage, but it is just less of those messy abilities, and Naruto has not learned fairy arts now. Even if he can carry it with the golden body mode, the amount may not be a system after all, and it is really difficult to say what the result is. And during this Naka Shinobi exam, many eyes converged, and Naruto was not good at exerting his power unscrupulously. With many restrictions, he will probably be quite passive when he encounters one of the 3 gods of Lonely Cave. My name is Ichikajimahime. As for the identity, guess. Ichikajimahime floated in Naruto's direction. Fly. Flew up. Sakura couldn't help but widen her eyes. The little lowly on the other side, is they older? How does it seem so oppressive? No wonder even Naruto, who had always been careless, tensed up. Sakura. At this time, Naruto suddenly calmed down and whispered, I'll leave for a while later. You go to Sasuke first, just protect yourself, don't worry about the rest. I was indeed a little panicked before, mainly because I had not met a really strong opponent after crossing 847, and I didn't have much confidence in my heart for a while. However, Naruto is a traverser after all, and soon thought of a way to deal with it, so he calmed down. Naruto. Naruto-kun, what do you want to do? Don't scare me. Sakura suddenly grabbed Naruto's arm nervously, always feeling that Naruto had a posture of opening up everything. It was the first time she had seen Naruto like this, and she would naturally be worried. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Naruto patted Sakura on the back. How, have you discussed the countermeasures? But whatever you want to do, it is meaningless in the face of absolute power. Ichikajimahime has a cat-play-mouse mentality and just flies around Naruto and Sakura there. I'm curious, how can a big person like you set his sights on a small character like me? Naruto pushed Sakura behind him and stared at each other with a heavy face. Ichikajimahime flew in front of Naruto and grinned. Who knows, maybe it was a whim, or it could be premeditated. Guess the specifics. Naruto scolded secretly, this should not be a Beto pretend, right? Naruto suddenly came to Ichikajimahime with a teleportation, and a spiral pill pressed towards, CDDF, her stomach. Yay. Ichikajimahime was so frightened that he quickly giggled again. I lied to you. Ichikajima-ji had a layer of special energy on his stomach that blocked the damage of the spiral pill, and his body fluttered back lightly. She tilted her head and said, I mastered such an amazing ninjutsu at a young age, and I really hit it deeply. What kind of attack is that? Sakura in the rear also saw Orochimaru for the first time and couldn't help but be surprised, but even if such an attack is not effective against the other party. What is the origin of the other party? And what surprises you even more? Naruto grinned, and in an instant appeared next to Ichikajimahime, a hand already on her shoulder. What? Ichikajimahime didn't react at all, and he was really surprised. You shouldn't shoehorn my spiral pill, it's much more convenient. Naruto chuckled and said to Sakura, Go, Sakura, I'll be back soon, take care of my own safety. Swish. Naruto disappeared in place with Ichikajimahime. The previous spiral pill was not a temptation, and he didn't think that he could hurt the other party. The purpose was just to leave the Flying Thunder God technique on Ichikajimahime. Ichikajimahime didn't avoid it because Todai didn't avoid it, just giving Naruto a chance. Naruto. Sakura was slightly stunned, but quickly understood. Naruto was worried that the battle would affect her, and he took the enemy to fight elsewhere. Have you really become a liability? Sakura was suddenly a little depressed. It seemed that she really had to work hard to cultivate, but now you still have to do what Naruto says so as not to worry him. Sakura gritted her teeth, discerned the direction of the down, and rushed in the direction that she was attacked by the large snake in the first place. On the other hand, Sasuke has broken away from illusion, not dragged by Sakura like in the original book, and Sasuke has shown extraordinary power from the beginning. In order to test his ability, the big snake pill deliberately released water, and the two of them could be regarded as having a good fight, and it was very fierce, and Naruto used the Flying Thunder God technique to directly take Hime to the Valley of the End far away from Konoha, as one of the famous attractions of the original book. End Valley certainly also retains Naruto's technique. So you can do it with confidence. Naruto let go of Hime, backed away from the distance, and then looked at her with interest. Until this time, Naruto finally had no scruples and returned to his previous indifferent mentality. I have to say that after the humanization, the lowly state city Pesselheim is still quite cute. This made Naruto can't help but think of a certain merchant who sold medicine. Should he learn it too? Flying Thunder God technique? It seems that I really underestimated you. Ichikajimahime hissed twice as he stretched out his snake's head, looking a little excited. Since you're not a candidate, of course, I don't have to be limited by the rules of the exam, so it is more convenient here. Are you right, the snake immortal of Longdi Cave? Naruto said for a moment. Oh. Do you actually know this? Ichikajimahime was very surprised. Now in this ninja world, except for Orochimaru, no one knows about her existence at all. Where did this person learn the news? I'm just curious. What cost did the Great Snake Pill pay for inviting you? Naruto was really strange about this. As for why Orochimaru valued him so much, he may not have expected it at first, but Naruto had the answer with a little brain. Shimura Danzo. It must have been that guy who leaked his information to the Big Snake Pill and let the Big Snake Pill deal with himself. However, Danzo definitely did not expect that. In comparison, Sasuke was more attractive to the Big Snake Pill. He just asked the ancestor to borrow someone, and it doesn't matter to me what price it costs. I took the initiative to ask for it. Ichikajimahime chuckled. I'm quite interested in a different little brother like you. Is that so? Naruto didn't ask in detail, and also chuckled. Actually, I'm also very interested in a young lady like you. It just so happens that there are no outsiders here, or let's discuss the question of length and depth, discuss with each other, and see if you, who have an immortal physique, can let me go all out. Ichikajimahime didn't understand the meaning of Naruto's words, but looking at his malicious gaze, he also knew that it was definitely not a good thing. Then it depends on your strength. Ichikajimahime didn't care either. If the strength is enough, Naruto will cooperate with whatever she wants. On the contrary, it can only be her snack. Chapter 095. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pictured, left 1 City Kajimahime, left 2 Terizuheim, right 1 Tashin Shinheim, right 2 Please disregard, it may be a toad-turned-hungry ghost road. Then I won't ask you the purpose of coming to me, let's use strength to speak. Naruto also knew that there was no answer to such a question, and with a clapping of both hands, the nine-tailed chakra mode turned on. Among the 3 holy places, Myamu Mountain and Wet Bone Forest may also talk about human favor and inheritance, but Longdi Cave is different. They only talk about strength and talent. If you can't let them take a look at this aspect, even if you are a 6th immortal reincarnation, it will be useless, and you will only be reduced to their snack. It is precisely because of this that if Naruto wants to discuss the question of length and depth with the 3 gods, as long as he can defeat them and make them truly submit, it is not as troublesome as humans. Roar. What is this power? Seeing that Naruto suddenly became golden and the energy in his body was completely different from before, Ichikajimahime couldn't help but show surprise. Remembering what the Great Snake Pill had reminded her before, she immediately came over. Is this the new form generated after controlling the power of the 9 tails? It's really fun. Then let me see which step you can achieve in this form. Ichikajima-ji put away his carelessness and directly transformed into a battle fight form. The so-called battle form is the immortal mode that integrates the fairy art Chakra. The pupils turned into golden vertical pupils, with more red eyeshadow, a snake-like mouth with sharp teeth and a long forked tongue, and a face with cracks like snake scales. There is also the body. The lower body also turns into a snake shape, and the human head is a snake body. The appearance is slightly out of line with human aesthetics, but as long as it doesn't show a hideous expression, it looks fine. This shape, if you can take back the snake's facial features, it really looks like a little bit of Nuwa's descendants. Naruto chuckled, and casually separated 4 shadow doppelgangers and surrounded Ichikajima Hime from all sides. This little trick is useless to me. Ichikajima flew directly up, passing the shadow doppelgangers from the air, ready to directly attack the body. Naruto himself pointed with his finger, this is not necessarily. Several shadow doppelgangers of Naruto followed Ichikajima, and all of them stepped into the air, windswept sandstorms. The 2 shadow doppelgangers used the wind to kill the formation, and the 2 shadow doppelgangers used the wind and sand to roll, and when combined they became a sandstorm, a huge tornado, mixed with a large amount of sand and dust, swept up wildly, enveloping the entire surrounding area. The wind and sand are all over the sky, not only obscuring the line of sight, but also very powerful. Ichikajima, who was flying towards Naruto's body, couldn't control his figure at all, and was pulled back by the tornado, and was soon swept into the wind and sand. Of course, even if this joint ninjutsu is extremely powerful, Ichikajima, who faces the immortal mode, is afraid that it is not enough to see it, so taking advantage of this time, Naruto's 4 shadow doppelgangers each rubbed out a wind spiral shuriken, and threw it into the tornado. With the powerful suction of that tornado, almost at the moment of the shot, the power has already burst out. The combined power of the 4 spiral shurikens is extremely terrifying, and today's spiral shurikens are not comparable to when they attack the root base. Being able to throw it out shows that the spiral shuriken has been perfected, and its power is more than twice as strong as it was at the beginning. A huge round ball of energy spread, Naruto's body quickly retreated, and the 4 shadow doppelgangers were directly disarmed. The immortal mode is indeed extraordinary, but eating 4 spiral shurikens, it must not be intact, right? Naruto was confident in his attack. He didn't plan to start with the simplest physical technique and increase his attack output little by little. A face will be directly fried. Presumably Ichikajima didn't expect it, right? She is not well prepared. Even if she has the ability to resist such an attack, she will definitely not be able to be safe. Sure enough, after the energy dissipated, a huge deep pit was left in place, and Ichikajima has transformed into a huge white-scaled snake, circling his body to reduce the area affected. Around her body, an invisible chakra shield protected her inside, but even so, the white-scaled snake had many more wounds that looked like they had been cut by the wind blade, but the wounds were relatively shallow. In the blink of an eye, the white-scaled snake returned to its appearance as a human head snake. It's just that at this time, Ichikajima looks extremely embarrassed, and the white robe on his upper body has been torn in many places, revealing the skin with scars inside. Immortal chakra surged and those flesh wounds quickly healed, becoming white and tender as water again. Bastard. Ichikajima was a little angry. If she hadn't appeared in her body at a critical moment and burst out all the natural chakras in her body, she would have been crippled if she didn't die just now. One face was so embarrassed, and passed back is not to be laughed at by other people in the Holy Land. I really didn't expect that a 10-year-old human child would have such great power, which was completely unexpected, but then, she has to be serious too. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Immortal Law White Stirring Technique. Ichikajima erupts a red glowing dragon from his mouth, and the red light dragon holds a black orb. The red light dragon rotated with the black orb as the center, and then burrowed into the black orb, and the black orb exploded instantly. Rumble. The blinding glare spread out with the explosion, accompanied by an extremely harsh sound. This trick can not only seal the vision and hearing of others, but also have strong harm to the strong light and harsh sound. Naruto had been prepared as early as when Ichikajima launched an attack, and having read the original book, he also knew the power of this Hakuji technique, which was a trick that even the third form of Susa of the Dirty Itachi and the Eternal Sasuke could not hold. It's just that the prelude to this move is too fast. There is almost no forward swing. Just noticed it, the power has already erupted in front of him. Naruto only had time to burst the nine-tailed chakra and hold it around him, barely resisting the violent vibration caused by the strong sound. In the vibration, the nine-tailed chakra constantly vibrated and shattered, and the chakra in Naruto's body was also stirred into chaos. If it weren't for the continuous transmission of chakra by the 9 tails in his body, that layer of chakra cloak alone would not have been able to protect Naruto, and at this time, Naruto could not even stand still, let alone effectively use ninjutsu to defend or counterattack. Snakes have a different perception than humans, so such bright lights and sounds don't do much for me. Ichikajima looked at Naruto, who was struggling to support, smiled proudly, and then quickly rushed towards Naruto. Since Naruto opened up directly from the beginning, wouldn't she be looked down upon if she didn't still use the color? But don't worry, since you have shown enough strength, I have no intention of killing you. But you made me so embarrassed, I still have to teach you a hard lesson first. Ichikajima opened his mouth to reveal 4 sharp teeth and bit Naruto the neck. With the assistance of the white shock technique, coupled with her own natural chakra, she can definitely easily break the chakra code of the 9 tails. Chapter 096. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just when Ichikajima opened the snake's mouth and was about to bite Naruto's neck, even the chakra code of the 9 tails was pierced by her, but she suddenly let out a muffled snort, and her body froze in place. This is... What's going on? Ichikajima turned her head with difficulty, and found that Naruto in front of her had turned into a small whirlwind, trapping her in place. This small whirlwind definitely had no effect on her, and what really sealed her actions were more than a dozen golden chains. King Kong blockade, the secret technique of my Whirlpool clan. Naruto's body came out of the shadows, and those golden chains all extended from behind him. King Kong blockade can easily trap even the complete body 9 tails. Even if the city Pestle Island G in the immortal mode, the hard strength will never exceed the complete body 9 tails, and it is natural to be bound. Damn, when the hell was 647, Ichikajima G knew that he was careless. What was trapped by the white agitation technique just now was just a shadow avatar of Naruto. To be precise, it should be the wind doppelganger. Even when you were hit by the 4-shot spiral shuriken, I had already left the wind doppelganger in place, and the body was hidden in the shadows. Naruto firmly trapped Ichikajima, pinched her chin and chuckled, facing one of the 3 gods of the Dragon Earth Cave. Of course I can't be careless, who knows what deadly hole cards you hide. Right. Under the shackles of the King Kong blockade, Ichikajima G couldn't even move chakra. It also made her unable to maintain the appearance of a human head and snake body, and she turned into a complete human form again. In other words, in fact, her human form is not maintained through chakra or transfiguration, but has truly become a human being. The human form is her normal state. The human head snake body is a transformation state that can improve combat effectiveness, and the white-scaled snake is the body hidden in the deepest place, which can also be said to be a soul form. Don't think you can trap me like this. Ichikajima Himiko has not yet thrown in the towel. Suddenly, Naruto found that his chakra was rapidly draining, and through the golden chain, it was rushing towards Ichikajima's body. According to this trend, it will definitely not be long before the King Kong blockade will not be maintained. Even if he could barely hold on, Naruto would not be able to fight for a lot of consumption and continue to deliver energy to Ichikajima like this. So you can still absorb someone else's chakra. A hint of surprise flashed across Naruto's face. This ability is similar to the hungry ghost path of the Eye of Reincarnation, so, don't you let go yet? Ichikajima looked at Naruto's face. Naruto smiled slightly and said, "Do you know the art of the flying thunder god?" That's not. Ichikajima didn't know why, just about to open his mouth to explain, but his face suddenly changed. I just absorbed chakra. Disappeared, huh? Naruto smiled and said, but it's not, it's back in me. How did you do it? Ichikajima's face was stunned. The ability to absorb chakra was hidden by her as a whole card. I thought I could turn over with this ability, but how did it inexplicably fail? Naruto took a moment to say, you can try again. Try it. Ichikajima does not believe in evil, and once again absorbs Naruto's chakra through the connection of golden chains, but after a few breaths, seeing that the King Kong blockade was about to be unsustainable, he suddenly returned to his previous state. Chakra, which was absorbed into the body by Ichikajima, was once again gone, and the King Kong blockade became stable again. What the hell is going on here? Ichikajima-ji was really panicked at this moment. Once can be said to be a coincidence, twice is really eaten to death. It is no longer possible to use chakra absorption to untie the bondage, but because King Kong is blocked, she can't move chakra, and other abilities are naturally even more useless. In this way, Ichikajima-hime could only be left to Naruto's disposal. Didn't I just say that? Flying Thunder God's Art. Naruto approached Ichikajima-hime and sniffed hard at her. Well, it's pretty fragrant. Naruto smiled and said, it seems that you have not only taken shape, but your living habits are also biased towards humans. In this regard, Ichikajima-hime didn't care at all, and just roared lowly, tell me quickly. Isn't the Flying Thunder God Art only able to teleport space? Can you incorporate spells into those chakras and control them back into your body? If this is the case, it would be outrageous. Can those consumed chakras also be quickly regenerated by the Flying Thunder God? Of course not. Naruto smiled, and who told you that the Flying Thunder God Art can only transfer space? In fact, Flying Thunder God is a time and space ninjutsu. Time and space, Ichikajima-ji repeated several times, and suddenly seemed to think of something, and suddenly her beautiful eyes widened. Thought of it? That's right, in addition to transferring space, it can also transfer time. Naruto smiled, looking like he was eating Ichikajima-hime. In fact, it is also so. At this point, even if Ichikajima-hime has many powerful abilities that he has not had time to use, he can no longer use them. Naruto, who already has the power to transfer time, even if Ichikajima-hime really has a way to get out of the King Kong blockade, he can be transferred back to his current state again. In the original work, whether it is 1,000 hands or a wave feng shui gate, when using the Flying Thunder God, you can only jump space, but just as Naruto said, it is a time-space ninjutsu, and it cannot be limited to space transfer. Those who can transfer time and space at the same time can be called time-space ninjutsu. Just now, Naruto used his time ability to transfer Ichikajima-hime's state back to before absorbing chakra. That's all. This is the result of his many shadow doppelgangers and long-term deep research. This ability can be said to be the third stage of the Flying Thunder God, and it is a realm that neither the second generation nor the fourth generation can achieve. Of course, it also has limitations, and it can't really be so invincible. The prerequisite is that he can only transfer his own time, perhaps directly or indirectly by the people and things he touches. The transfer time is only 3 seconds at maximum and cannot be used continuously. After the time shift 4.6, you must wait for the overlapping timeline to pass before you can cast it again. The simple explanation is that after transferring for 1 second, the skill CD is more than 1 second. Transfer 2 seconds, and the skill CD is more than 2 seconds, but in any case, this ability is definitely worthy of a cattle. After Naruto comprehended this move, the first thing that came to mind was, Uchiha Obito, you can even do such a thing. Ichikajima-hime is stupid. Such a skill is a complete bug, and if used well, even the inevitable death game can be avoided. However, it is not unjust to lose with such ability. Ichikajima-hime sighed softly and completely gave up resistance. I admit defeat. What you want to do with me, please feel free. Naruto rubbed his chin and kept looking at Ichikajima-hime, so he wanted to learn from that medicine boy or not. Chapter 097. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I admit defeat. What you want to do with me, please feel free. Ichikajima-hime was completely resigned to his fate, and she really can afford to lose, and she doesn't look reluctant at all. The gesture was like saying that no matter what Naruto asked of her, she would cooperate. Well, this is how Lonely Cave does. Naruto's strength has been recognized by her. As long as Naruto is willing, she can even take Naruto as the master, become a psychic beast, and become a mount. Naruto rubbed his chin and looked Ichikajima-hime up and down. So, do you want to learn that medicine boy? After hesitating for 1,000th of a second, Naruto decided, yes. He has never been a hypocritical person, since he thinks in his heart, then do it. The Valley of the End was inaccessible, and Naruto didn't have to look for a hidden place. Directly picked up Ichikajima-hime, jumped out of the deep pit caused by the battle, and found a relatively clean place. What are you trying to do? Ichikajima-hime is unknown. In her mind, such a great opportunity, Naruto would definitely not be able to wait to sign a psychic contract with her. After all, Naruto knew 23 about Ryuji Cave, and he also knew about Sangamihime, then it must be clear what it means if you can sign a psychic contract with Ichikajimahime, one of the three gods. But Naruto's current approach, she was a little confused. Don't worry. Soon you will understand. Naruto did not unblock Kong, but was worried that Ichikajimahime would not cooperate. Wait until you are halfway through and then let go, and then it will be fine. It's just that he doesn't know much about the creatures of the Dragon Earth Cave after all. Even if he says it bluntly, Ichikajimahime may look at him with strange eyes, but he still won't resist. So, when Naruto began to roll over the mountain with both hands, gradually revealing his intentions, Ichikajimahime's eyes really changed, but there was no intention of resisting. You let me go. Ichikajima bit her lip and said softly, now like this, I don't cooperate well. Naruto looked up, slightly stunned. Ichikajimahime's expression was as tender as water at this time, looking at Naruto's gaze as if he was looking at a lover, with a deep attachment. Naruto scratched his head. He remembered that he didn't take the initiative to provoke Asura buff. Why did Ichikajimahime's reaction be so strong? Ichikajimahime also seemed to see the doubts in Naruto's heart, and explained softly, our female snake mate selection criteria are very simple. As long as we approve of it, we will be dead-hearted. Since you are willing to ask me and don't look at me differently, then I will also be loyal to you. Even if you don't want me in the future, or even kill me, I won't change my mind. Even if she has turned into a human, even if she is an immortal who is more than 1,000 years old, she is still a snake and retains the characteristics of a snake. The female snake will only be loyal to a male snake, but the male snake can choose a mate and multiple mates at will, and dispose of the female snake at will. So it is. Naruto suddenly had no worries in the face of Ichikajimahime's intentions. The King Kong blockade was lifted, and the restraints on both sides were lifted, and the topic was quickly brought to business, because Ichikajimahime is an immortal, and the strength level is there. Naruto does not need to suppress himself at all, as long as he completely releases his ability. After all, Naruto's immortal body is still in the stage of development, and he is still just a small teenager, and his body has not fully grown, so even with the Uzumaki physique and the blessing of the nine-tailed chakra, he almost lost to Ichikajimahime. Even if Ichikajimahime was only experiencing it for the first time, it still made Naruto almost lose. Fortunately, Naruto has been crossing over for several months. He has been well nourished, his strength is getting stronger and stronger, and his physique is completely different from before. After fighting the spirit, he barely preserved the last trace of man's dignity and fought Ichikajimahime. Such a performance was actually greatly unexpected by Ichikajimahime, and she thought that she could easily defeat Naruto. She is well aware that Naruto has great potential, and in this case, he can fight with her and lose, and after he really grows up in the future, Ichikajimahime is definitely far from an opponent. Such strength is really not comparable to ordinary people, and her decision to commit to Naruto is definitely the right one. It's too powerful. Ichikajima nestled in Naruto's arms and said faintly, it won't be long. Even if the three gods join forces, they will definitely not be your opponents. Are you willing to help me subdue the other two of Sanshin-ji? Naruto grabbed her pet hard and teased, after experiencing your beauty, I found that this is the real suffering. Without the coldness of snakes, it is quite enthusiastic. That kind of flexibility and bouncing ability is far from being comparable to ordinary humans, and Ichikajimahime is not just a little lowly, she can use the fairy chakra to easily change her body shape. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Just like what Naruto was holding in his hand now, it was not a model at all from what he saw before. As long as it is what you want, whatever it is, I will help. Ichikajima was not embarrassed in the slightest, and said with tenderness, even if you let me betray the white snake immortal and want her to become your woman, I will do my best. It's better to be exempt. Naruto was taken aback. White snake fairy. Naruto wanted to collect all the beauty guides, but it didn't include old women. Ichikajima also seemed to know what Naruto 223 was worried about, and smiled. Actually, although the ancestor is very old and the human form he maintains is also very old, this kind of thing is nothing to the immortals. As long as she is willing, she can retransform into a young and beautiful body at any time. When she said this, Naruto was really a little moved, just thinking about it. After all, I still thank you insensitively, because I already have a preconceived impression. the only possibility is that unless one day the White Snake Immortal takes the initiative to turn into a young and beautiful beauty to find him, and Naruto does not know in advance that it is the White Snake Immortal, and he is confused, forget it. Don't talk about this. Naruto waved his hand and asked, now tell me, why did you appear at Konoha's Chunin exam venue? What is the purpose that the big snake pill wants to achieve? Both people and hearts are already Naruto, and Ichikajima naturally will not hide it in the slightest. After all, she didn't have a good impression of the big snake pill. No, it should be said that the entire Dragon Earth Cave did not have a good impression of the Great Snake Pill, it's just that the Big Snake Pill is the only human who found the location of the Dragon Cave, and passed the test of the White Snake Immortal and obtained the qualification of the Big Snake of the Psychic Dragon Cave, so no matter what, Orochimaru can be regarded as the representative figure of Dragon Earth Cave in the ninja world, but now compared to Naruto, Orochimaru is a boo. Chapter 098. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In fact, this matter is simple to say. Orochimaru wants to take the opportunity of the Naruto exam to investigate Naruto's specific strength, it's just that during this time period, he has more important things to do, that is, to plant strawberries for Nisakiko. Nisakiko's side must be more important to him, and he has to go there himself. He wasn't sure if Naruto could succeed in attacking Sasuke in his presence, it would have to separate the two, then, there must be someone else on Naruto's side who is responsible, and the strength cannot be weak. After all, the news from Danzo was that Naruto had mastered the power of the Nine Tails and would also fly Thor. To be honest, even Orochimaru himself didn't have much confidence to win Naruto, so considering the end, Orochimaru decided to go to the White Snake Immortal and ask for help from her, in order to get the White Snake Immortal to agree. The Great Snake Pill paid a considerable price. Ichikajima didn't know the specific amount, but he only knew that it contained a certain forbidden technique, as well as a lot of human experimental subjects that gave the big snakes of Longdi Cave as snacks. The White Snake Immortal naturally couldn't make a personal move, and this matter was handed over to the hands of the three gods. In the three gods, perhaps because of the appearance of the little loli, only Ichikajima is interested in the little boy. So the result was like this. Ichikajima-Hime's real purpose was to help Orochimaru test Naruto's strength. It's best to test all abilities and whole cards, the more detailed the better. However, Ichikajima can only let Naruto get injured and cannot kill him. That's the case. Ichikajima explained everything he knew. Shimura Danzo, that stinky rat, it's really annoying. Naruto couldn't help but scold secretly. He just wants to keep a low profile and spend the years without changing the tide, then let the fourth ninja war break out, and finally release Kageyama, trying to see if he can be convinced or persuaded. If he can, in the future, the Dadamu family will not need to worry at all, and he can enjoy life better. If you can't, you can still seal it as in the original book, and then find a way to raise your strength to the 6th level, and then deal with the big tube knot. That's the original plan, and it's quite salty to say. It's just that Tuanzong doesn't give him a chance, and he does things 5 times over and over again. Of course, in the end, it was Naruto himself who provoked him first, but it doesn't matter. The Kwai Collapse plan begins. At that time, when everyone's attention was focused on the battle between Orochimaru versus Sandaime, Naruto would secretly solve the underground rat, or simply deal with the advisory group. As long as Naruto doesn't leave obvious evidence, then everyone will definitely think that the person was killed by Orochimaru, and they can't suspect him at all. After Tsunade took the throne, Naruto was Naruto, and he could walk sideways in Konoha without the slightest scruples. Naruto actually thought about this matter for a long time, which is why he has not taken the initiative to find Danzo. When the 3rd generation reigned, Tuanzong was not good at moving, and if he moved, there would be very big trouble. After all, everyone understood the relationship between them, so it's better to wait for Konoha to collapse the plan. It's only a month. After learning all this, Naruto signed a psychic contract with Ichikajima, and then let her go back. So, how do I report when I go back? Ichikajima asked Naruto's opinion. Naruto thought for a moment and said, except for the ability to hide the ability to transfer time, just tell the truth. Flying Thunder God was originally his whole card. Since it was exposed, it didn't matter. The time ability was the whole card in the whole card. I see. Ichikajima nodded and reluctantly said goodbye to Naruto. After that, Naruto used the Flying Thunder God technique to return to the Forest of Death. It's been 4 hours since he left with Ichikajima, and from the message that the Shadow Avatar has returned, Nisuke has been bitten like the original and passed out. It wasn't until Orochimaru left that Sakura came out of the secret place, took Sasuke away, and underwent a simple treatment. Now beside them, there is also a shadow doppelganger of Naruto guarding them. In addition, Red Bean, who was sensed and ran over to find Orochimaru, was also stopped by Naruto's shadow doppelganger, delaying for a while, avoiding the meeting between Red Bean and Orochimaru, Naruto-kun. Seeing Naruto's body appear, Sakura was overjoyed and threw herself into his arms. Great, you really came back safely. Naruto lifted the shadow doppelganger who was present, hugged Sakura and smiled. There is no problem with my shadow doppelganger, it means that the body must be fine. What are you worried about? But if I can't see you in person, people will definitely be worried. Sakura was coquettish, and then said a little worried, and Sasuke was bitten on the neck by a guy named Orochimaru, and a strange thing appeared. Now that Sasuke is unconscious, I have been treated briefly with medical techniques, but his body has not improved in the slightest, and I don't know what happened. If it weren't for your shadow avatar saying that it would be fine, for Sasuke's safety, I would have taken the initiative to give up the exam and send him to the hospital for treatment. It may be that a person has been scared for a little longer, and Sakura is still under great psychological pressure, and as soon as she sees Naruto, she can't help but pour out all the bitter water in her heart. Naruto just listened with a smile on his face, and waited for her to finish before giving her a long hug until Sakura completely relaxed. You don't have to worry about Sasuke, it should be a good thing for him. After Naruto finished comforting Sakura, he stepped forward to check on Sasuke's situation. Now Naruto, who has learned some of the Uzumaki clan's secret techniques, still has some understanding of things like spells and seals. After some inspection, Naruto quickly figured out the principle: if there are sufficient conditions, he can also copy it. This heavenly spell seal is actually not complicated, but the surface is mixed with natural energy, as well as the soul mark of the Great Snake Pill. And it is more troublesome to deal with. If Naruto wanted to forcibly lift it, he could do it with some time, but it's not necessary. Not. Maybe you can help Red Bean remove the spell mark when you turn back, which is the right thing. How? What the hell is this? Sakura was a little blindly adored Naruto, and even if it was something she didn't understand at all, she thought Naruto would definitely know something. This thing is called a spell seal, using a certain technique to seal some special energy inside, probably like a scroll. Naruto gave Sakura a spell seal, along with the pros and cons of natural energy. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Sasuke's current situation, Naruto did not hide, including the purpose of Orochimaru. After all, it is your own woman, and it is beneficial to know more in the end. As for whether or not to let Sasuke know this, it depends on your mood. Chapter 099. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So what now? Will it really be okay? Sakura learns about Orochimaru's conspiracy and is even more worried. For what Naruto had just said, this matter was only good for Sasuke, and this sentence was completely incomprehensible. Naruto said lightly, "Don't worry about Sasuke's affairs, he has his path, and he can't live comfortably like us. Indra's destiny is revenge, and if Sasuke is not allowed to go down this path, the entanglement between Asura and Indra will never come to fruition." You mean? Will Sasuke go with Orochimaru? Sakura didn't understand Naruto's words, but she heard the voice. Okay, just listen to me anyway, you don't have to think about it. I'm just telling you this just to let you know more about the secrets, but not to let you meddle. Naruto held Sakura in his arms and soothed. So it's because I'm too weak? Sakura was a little aggrieved and lay in Naruto's arms. Although Naruto's embrace made her feel at ease, this feeling of being able to stay out of the situation was not what she wanted. In this matter, Naruto did not give a direct answer. Sakura is weak, that's a fact, because weak strength can only stay out of the matter. This is also a fact, however, the same cannot be said. Naruto said softly, "Everyone has their own path to take, and Sasuke carries the glory of the Uchiha clan, which outsiders 447 can't help. Not only can't you meddle, I can't help much, so let Sasuke make his own decisions." Naruto said this, and Sakura felt much more comfortable in her heart. Although she was still a little entangled, she still listened to Naruto in the end. Did I care too much about Sasuke and make you angry? I promise it's just out of pure concern. Sakura suddenly reacted that she might be a little overdone, and immediately became full of desire to please, and gave Naruto a few fierce kisses on the face. Naruto chuckled, it's not enough. But, Sakura glanced at Sasuke over there with some embarrassment. Although Sasuke was still asleep, he didn't know when he would suddenly wake up, and a place like the Forest of Death is not an occasion to do that kind of thing. Naruto smiled wickedly in her ear, I can use the enchantment technique, and send 2 more doppelgangers to guard. Sakura had long been familiar with Naruto's absurdity, and she enjoyed the embarrassed surrender. Before she could make up her mind and still hesitate, she was picked up by Naruto and walked towards the depths of the tree hole. Just now from Ichikajimaheim, Naruto has actually been satisfied. Just seeing Sakura looking like she was waiting to be conquered, he still couldn't help it. Halfway through, Naruto suddenly paused. What's wrong? Sakura's eyes were confused, quite a little up and down, and her heart was like tens of thousands of ants crawling, and she didn't dare to urge Naruto. Nothing, let's go ahead. Naruto shook his head and buried his head in hard work again. In fact, I just received memory feedback from the Shadow Avatar, one of the Shadow Doppelgangers who was sent out met Aira, who was killing the Rain Ninja, and Temari and Kankuro accompanied him. After that, Airo discovers the 8th class hiding in the shadows, that is, Hinata's squad, and wants to continue shooting, probably because of the butterfly effect. Temari didn't know what he was thinking and kept out of his mind, and didn't open his mouth for me to stop Airo. Of course, Naruto's Shadow Avatar can only appear, and this is also a chance for heroes to save beauty. Even if Temari really said that I love Luo like the original, Naruto would also run out to show his presence. It's you. Naruto's appearance made Airo instantly alert. They naturally couldn't tell that this was Naruto's shadow doppelganger. Brother-in-law, give me face, the one behind is also my daughter-in-law. Naruto spread his hands to Aira. Temari was still a little happy when he saw Naruto, but when he heard this, he couldn't help but turn dark. How many daughters-in-law does this guy have? Shukankuro was upset about this. A peach, CDCC, flower luck like Naruto. He was envious. You've come just in time. My AI Luo's killing intent has been activated by the blood of those rain ninjas, and when he saw Naruto, he immediately roared with a fierce face, among all the candidates, you are the one I want to kill the most. Read violent novels, go on Faloo Fiction Network. Come on, Naruto Uzumaki, let me feel the fun of fighting. As long as I kill you, my existence will be more real. Only you, I have to kill you. After that, no matter what Naruto's reaction was, he rushed towards Naruto like a beast. Naruto also knew that AI Luo was very sick at this time, but he didn't expect it to be like this. I've just made an appearance, right? It was actually full of killing intent, and he is just a shadow doppelganger, with little power, and it will disappear with a slight touch. Naruto. Hinata, who was hiding in the grass, let out an exclamation, and he couldn't hide it anymore and jumped out directly, his face full of worry. Helplessly, Ya and Shino could only come out together, with a guarded face, ready to pick up Naruto at any time. In any case, they are also at the same time, and they still have a relationship of performing tasks together, now in the face of enemies in other villages. It is necessary to unite with the outside world. Moreover, Naruto originally appeared to save them, and the Konoha ninja was the most moral, and at this time, he couldn't do the act of leaving his companions and escaping alone. Well, I'm not here to fight. Naruto dodged Eiro's attack, and with another teleportation, he came to Temari and chuckled, I just came to see my daughter-in-law, but I didn't think about fighting here. Even Iilua, who was on the verge of running away, was a little stunned when he saw this scene, and his movement suddenly stopped. Although I don't want to admit it, Temari's status in my Ailua's heart is still quite special. The same relatives. Luo Sha just used my AI Luo as a weapon. Kankuro has always been afraid of my AI Luo, and even has some disgust, because I love Luo. I also make him hate those little ghosts who are not old but love to pretend. Only Temari, although he is also nervous and scared when facing my AI Luo, but he really cares about his younger brother. Therefore, many times only Temari can stop the bloodthirsty AI Luo. At this time, Temari was beside Naruto, and Iroh also had some rat throwers before stopping the attack. Stop talking nonsense, who is your daughter-in-law? Temari blushed slightly moving away from Naruto. It's a pity that she doesn't know that Naruto in front of her is just a shadow doppelganger and won't do anything to her at all. If the body came, it would have ignored 3721 long ago. Hold it first. Chapter 100. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, Temari, you won't really like this kid, will you? Seeing Temari's arrogant expression, Kankuro's heart became even more unbalanced, and he suddenly shouted with displeasure on his face, "This guy is a big radish with a huashin, didn't you hear him say that the one over there is also his daughter-in-law? Verbose. Do you want to remind me?" Temari was so embarrassed by Kankuro that he almost couldn't help but fan him away. What kind of brother is this? I was taken advantage of, and I didn't help myself get it back, and I was actually worried that I would really like Naruto. Don't worry, wait for me to take time back and go to Shine Village to hire. Naruto grinned at his opponent Kun. Am I worried about this? Temari said in embarrassment, No, I'm not worried at all, don't say these nonsense words anymore, we are still enemies now. It's not accurate to say that the enemy is. Naruto shook his finger and said, at best, he is just a competitor to the Chunin exam, and if you want to become a Chunin, as long as you show enough qualifications, you don't necessarily have to win. Of course, it's only the second exam, it's still a knockout round, and if you can't win, you won't even have a chance to perform. What do you mean? Temari was slightly startled. Okay, without further ado, I was just passing by, and I really didn't plan to do anything. As Naruto spoke, he had already secretly winked at Hinata and told them to leave quickly. Hinata hesitated, but quietly retreated with Ya and Shino. I've noticed it and I'm about to take action. Naruto took a few steps towards him and spoke, I love Luo, I actually know about your situation. And in fact, we are a kind of people. Iroh frowned, giving up the idea of pursuing Hinata and the others. After all, those few people are just small characters, insignificant. What do you want to say? Iroh didn't understand what Naruto meant, but he had a gut feeling that he had to listen to these words. There are a total of 9-tailed beasts in this world, which are a collection of chakra and have powers far superior to humans. In order to use these powers, the tailed beast is sealed into the human body, and the human who seals the tailed beast is called the human pillar force. The 5 major ninja villages all have human pillar forces, and the fate of almost all human pillar forces is the same. They will be discriminated against by the villagers, feared as monsters, and even if they are weak in their hearts, they will not be able to live a normal life. You, me, are all such beings. You are the 1-tailed human pillar force of the Sand Hidden Village, and I am the 9-tailed human pillar force of Konoha, and that's probably it. Naruto is not hostile to Ero, and the two do not necessarily have to fight like the original to communicate with each other. Luo is actually a person with a high IQ, and just through Naruto's way of survival, he can comprehend a mature life path. In just over 2 years, he went from a tailed beast weapon that everyone feared to the youngest shadow in history. And this shadow was so good that Inoki was quite admired by the old stubbornness. Of course, the most important thing is that in the original book, Luo's heart for Naruto is above Nisakiko. If it weren't for the fact that Iroh was a man, he would definitely be more suitable to be Naruto's Kanuchi than Hinata and Sakura. Well, back to business. After listening to Naruto's words, the 3 people present almost understood what he meant. Looking at Naruto's gaze, he could no longer remain calm. Kankuro, needless to say, except for fear, one Luo made his heart tremble, and he was told that there was another one who was the same as my Luo, and it was likely to be even more terrifying. If he could, Kankuro would like to pull his legs and run, but now his legs are a little soft. Temari was also a little panicked, but there was pity in the panic. It turns out that Naruto is the same as her brother, and will also be rejected and disgusted by the people in the village. No kidding. Only Luo didn't believe it at all, and roared lowly, you say that we are the same, so why can you laugh so happily with those people? Whatever the reason, it only proves that you are lying. It's not that he doesn't believe, it's just that he doesn't want to believe. Since you are disgusted and feared by everyone, then kill everyone. If Naruto was really like him, he should be like him and become an Asura who lives only for himself. What does other people's opinions have to do with me? Naruto's words stunned Iroh. The attitude of ordinary people in the village towards me has not changed, but so what? I'm not alive for them. Naruto shrugged and said, since there are no people around me who agree with me being close to me, then I will take the initiative to find some such people to stay around, and that's it. Feelings are two-way, as long as you really give and the other party feels your heart, they will definitely respond. If not, it only means that the other person is not worth your effort. I was born extraordinary, not everyone is qualified to stay by my side, and I only like young and beautiful little sisters, so Miss Temari, love you. At the end, Naruto bowed to Temari, what was originally a very serious thing, in the end, made Temari couldn't help but shiver, it's so meaty. However, witnessing Naruto's mental journey, whether he really liked her or came for her young and beautiful, such a confession Temari was not disgusted, are feelings a two-way street. My AI Luo also seemed to be touched, and the hideousness on his face gradually retracted, and he was more thoughtful. Naruto smiled and said, actually, you're not nothing, are you? Isn't Miss Temari always caring about you and maintaining you? You should be able to feel it. Look at the look in her eyes now, she has pity for me as an outsider, let alone you, she is your own sister. So, before I marry her, protect her well. Boom! Naruto made a seal, and the figure turned into smoke and disappeared in place. At this time, the Sand Hidden team reacted. Naruto, who had talked to them so much, was actually just a shadow doppelganger. Humph, who has pity on you? Sling the bull. Temari stomped his foot and said to my AI Luo, I love Luo, don't listen to him. From the first meeting until now, he has never passed by properly, who knows which ones he said are true and which are false. Of course, she also hoped that because of Naruto's words, let me Airo change, and then accept the existence of her sister, but she was even more afraid that if something went wrong, AI Luo became less like a normal person. In contrast, if she at least maintains the status quo, she can still retain a trace of her position in my Iluo's heart. Iroh opened her mouth a few times, but finally said nothing. Just took the sand scattered on the ground back into the gourd. Let's go to the central tower. My AI Luo returned to his usual indifferent expression and took the lead in the direction of the central tower, making it impossible to see what he was thinking. 100 chapters of the mark, scatter flowers. Loss. Chapter 101. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The next day, Naruto and Sakura finished a morning exercise and then fed each other breakfast in a special way, and until this time, Nisuke was still asleep. In fact, Sakura was a little worried about Sasuke's situation, but because yesterday she thought that Naruto was angry because she was too worried about Sasuke, and punished her, she has not slowed down until now. Therefore, Sakura did not dare to casually show her concern for Sasuke. Of course, as she said herself, now she really only cares about Sasuke among her companions. Of course Naruto knew this, and he wasn't really angry about it, it was just that Sakura herself cared too much about him. Naruto had wanted to take the opportunity to teach Sakura a few rudimentary sealing techniques in order to improve her control over chakra, but at this time, there were a few more chakras in the perception, and the 880 meridian appeared near several of his own people. According to the development of the plot of the original book, at this time, it should be Oto and Shinrokudo TOS squad. Obeying the orders of Orochimaru to test Sasuke's strength, the three-person squad is the TOS Anvil, the Sark Stirrup, and the Mallet. And in fact, they were just thrown over as cannon fodder. After the mission failed, Sak and Kodo became the sacrifices of the first and second generations of the Great Snake Pill. In order to prove himself, Thoth wanted to fight Sasuke again in the third exam, so he ran to sneak up on Aira, and ended up feeding Moritsuru in advance. Sure enough, it didn't take long for the Thoth team to appear outside the tree hole where Naruto and several people were. The three stood there without concealment, seemingly not taking Naruto in their eyes at all. We're here to find Sasuke, go wake him up, we're going to fight him. Sure enough, it was Rokudoto's, and the tone was even more pretending to be beat than Uchiha Nisakiko, standing there with a loud horn and saying, without even lifting his eyelids. These guys, Sakura frowned and said, what does it have to do with Orochimaru? With Naruto there, she was more confident, not as flustered as the original, it's just a few little minions, don't care. Naruto didn't bother to take a look, to give face, it is said that it is 6th, but it is a pity that his face is in front of Naruto, and it is not a fart, I can't take that as if I didn't hear that. Sak is a relatively arrogant person, and when he heard Naruto's words, his face was immediately full of displeasure, and he said to Thoth next to him, I'm going to kill this little ghost, and that woman, and Sasuke is also mine. Saying that, without waiting for Thoth to reply, he jumped high and rushed towards Naruto's side, this guy is always so self-assertive. Thoth snorted softly, and then said, Jean, let's go together, don't waste time. Humph, leave that woman to me. Jean followed behind Thoth and rushed out together, while grinning, I hate her hair. Rush over, Naruto-kun. Sakura hurriedly took out the kunai, leave it to me. Naruto patted Sakura on the shoulder and stepped forward alone, you actually underestimate me so much, chopping the empty wave. Sak was the first to rush to Naruto's side, seeing that he didn't do any defense, he was furious in his heart, and immediately aimed the wind hole in his palm at Naruto, and an extremely powerful shockwave rushed straight at Naruto, I don't even have to prepare for this level of attack. Naruto raised a hand, chakra transformed into a wind escape attribute, and a wind wall instantly formed. Although Sark's chopping wave is strong, in the end, it is only the strength of the lower ninja, which is a good sea-level ninjutsu, which cannot cause damage to Naruto at all, it's just that the simple wind escape attribute condensed, and even ninjutsu can't be counted, so it easily blocked that attack. Bastard, this guy is really infuriating. Sark's face changed, although he knew that Naruto's strength was a little unexpectedly strong, he couldn't stand being slighted, immediately raised both hands, revealing 2 wind cavities, ready to increase the output, let me come, this guy is not simple. Thoth had already caught up, and as he spoke, his right hand clenched into a fist and swung it hard towards the wind wall created by Naruto, ringing through. A shrill sound came from the perforated armor equipped with his right arm, vibrating the air rapidly under Chakra's urging, in the blink of an eye, Thoth's attack pierced Naruto's wind wall, the voice continued to spread, covering Naruto and Sakura behind him, this kind of attack, a little bit of a look. Naruto's face was still indifferent, and he didn't see any movement, and a blue swirling chakra appeared around his body, spiral parapet. Spinning chakra with Naruto and Sakura as the center, protecting them like eggshells. Read violent novels, just go to Faloo Fiction Network. Although Thoth's attack was a sound wave, it still couldn't break through that layer of defense, and when it came into contact with the chakra, it slipped away from the side, only then did the 3 of those begin to look at Naruto squarely, such a strength of defensive ninjutsu, and such an easy way to cast, shows that Naruto still has a lot of spare power. It seems that before fighting with Sasuke Uchiha, you have to warm up first. Thoth steadied the momentum, gave Sak and Jean a glance, and decided not to venture further, such an opponent cannot be defeated casually, and naturally he cannot be too impatient. You've all made a move, let me try it. Jean did not agree, took out a few thousand needles, and sneered, judging from the behavior of that guy at the beginning, this is just a lustful ghost. A guy who will be addicted to women, where can his strength be? Wrong. Naruto shook his finger and said, I'm not a satyr, but big color wolf. Bastard. Is there anything different about this? Koto roared and spoke, throwing a few thousand needles at Naruto in his hand, I don't know if I was angry, her attack was not accurate at all, only one of them was likely to hit, and Naruto flew away, and the other few were stuck to the ground next to them. Humph, you've hit the mark. Seeing that Naruto didn't care about the few thousand needles on the ground, Koto couldn't help but grin, and his fingers flicked a few times lightly. 3.0, it turned out that those 1,000 books were hung with bells on them, and the tail was connected to the chakra line, which was still controlled by the fingers of the piano. As long as she urges chakra, she can make the bell on Senbon ring through those chakra lines, and thus use sound waves to activate illusions, people who don't understand. Her abilities can easily fall under her tricks. Unfortunately, the fingers of the piano hooked for a while, but the imaginary sound wave did not sound, this can't be. Her face changed, and she finally realized that something was wrong. The person who wins the plan should be you, right? The corners of Naruto's mouth hooked slightly, and chakra condensed in his hand, casually grabbing the chakra thread on those 1,000 needles and pulling hard. At Koto's exclamation, her body was easily pulled over by Naruto. Thank you Frost Shadow TM for the big reward again. Compared to the heart,